The 7 plagues of the Apocalypse are couched in planetary symbolism. The plagues are poured out by heavenly angels from vials, also translated as bowls. Bowl imagery was extensively used in the judgments of God upon mankind throughout the Old Testament, as Laszlo Gallus of the Belgrade Theological Seminary pointed out. The bowl imagery of the plagues of Revelation connects the book to the Exodus motif of the Old Testament. The Old Testament counterpart to the golden bowls of wrath of Revelation is the wine cup of fury, astonishment, and desolation. The prophet Job, who lived during the Exodus, knew of the cup of wrath from personal experience. He explained to his friends Zophar that the wicked would eventually see destruction by drinking of the wrath of the Almighty. The psalmist Asaph sang of the cup of red wine in the Lord's hand. The Lord pours out the wine on the earth, and the wicked will drink the dregs, meaning they will drink of God's wrath to the last drop. David lamented that the Lord had made the earth to shake and had cast off his people, making them to drink the wine of astonishment. Speaking of the latter days, Isaiah prophesies that Israel, after having drunk the cup of the Lord's fury and trembling to the dregs, would not drink it again. Jeremiah was symbolically given the cup of fury by the Lord to cause all the nations to drink it. The cup of the Lord's fury was more than the sword. It was the wrath of planetary catastrophe sent from heaven, as the Lord made clear to Jeremiah several verses later. In a revelation to Ezekiel, the Lord compared Jerusalem and Samaria to 2 women, daughters of the same mother, who committed whoredoms in Egypt. As a consequence, the Lord gave Jerusalem her sister Samaria's cup of astonishment and desolation. In a revelation to Joseph Smith, the Lord used the same cup imagery, changing it to the cup of mine indignation. He is indignant because of the wickedness of the world. Now, 5 months later, he repeated the image, combining the cup of wrath with the cup of indignation. The archetypical cup of the wine of wrath is also used in its negative aspect. The cup no longer belongs to the Lord, full of his righteous fury, but now belongs to Babylon. The wine is the wrath of her fornication. corrupting the nations of the world, as the Apostle John saw. According to John's revelation, the cup of the mother of harlots, Babylon the Great, is golden and full of abominations and filthiness. The cup also held the blood of the saints and martyrs of Jesus. The woman became drunken with their blood. The wine of the wrath of her fornication from the golden cup corrupted all nations of the world. Babylon's golden cup was not new to Revelation. The Lord used the same imagery in the revelation to Jeremiah.